Everybody, we're going to be talking about Chapter 3. This is a video summary of Chapter 3, less than 5 minutes. The executive summary is available for you. So the purpose of this is for you to be able to see an example of an executive summary, an example of a summary video. So when I went through Chapter 3, and I'm thinking, how would this feel as a student? I found 4 main sections to Chapter 3. The first all has to do with terminology. So it's things like fixed cost, mixed cost, step cost, all of that. And, looking at the textbook, you're going to see really good examples. So like page 79, you'll see a nice graph of fixed cost. Page 80, variable, 81, mixed, and I just saw step, page 87 for step. So those different types of costs, you'll see good graphs and good commentary on those. It's the kind of thing like if you're running a pizza shop and you're paying rent to have this specific, restaurant location, like in a mall or in a strip mall or a certain building, let's just say it's rent, $10,000 per month rent, that's fixed, same amount. The amount of cheese that you have for cheese cost at a pizza shop is going to vary. The more pizzas you make, the more cheese cost you have. Say it's a kind of place like a car place or some place with salespeople. Mixed cost would be like a salesperson that gets a flat salary, but then they get commission on top of it. That'd be a mixed cost. And then step is maybe something new to think about. So you might take a look at page 87 and you'll see step cost in there. Step cost, I like to think of daddy daycare. Like this is daddy daycare with 5 kids that they're watching, and then you only have to have 1 full-time daycare provider. Then let's say you go to, now you get 5, 6, 7, 8, you get to 10 kids, and now the government says no, you gotta have 2 caregivers. You can't just have 1, and you have 10 kids and you grow 10, 11, 12, 13, 15. Now you got to have 3 people working there. So step cost is that kind of scenario. There's a couple other terms in there. You can check them out in the executive summary. I don't think you'll have any major issues with the terms for Chapter 3. Then when you get into the actual work, you're going to be doing the high-low method. Excuse me. High-low method, scattergraph, and regression. Okay, I'm back. Find and use the blue boxes in the textbook so you can practice these things. So there's these examples that you can for sure practice, and then of course there's more problems in the back and all that. So take a look at page 93, high-low method. That's a really good one for practicing that first process. So the high-low method in the executive summary, you will see the formula, so to speak. So I'm going to read it to you. High cost minus low cost divided by high orders minus low orders, or whatever it is. So like this one on page 93, we've got cost. So you're going to go find the high one, find the low one, and then find this one's moves, number of moves. Find the high number, find the low number. And you're going to plug all that together, and that's how you calculate variable cost per unit. Then when you're comparing variable and fixed, you want to keep in mind that fixed cost plus variable cost equals total cost. So total cost is split into those two pieces, fixed and variable. And then there's this formula. So you're going to see this weird formula, y equals f plus vx. And you'll see all this in the executive summary. That's code for y is total equals fixed plus variable. So you'll see all that in there. So that's the first problem solving thing you'll do is high-low method. The next one you're going to do is, I call it the Scattergraph method. The book calls it the Scatterplot method. So you want to go to page 95, Scatterplot method. And you're going to take your information, the same information you used in the high-low method, and you're going to graph it. And that's a scatter graph or a scatter plot graph. So you graph each point and then you find like a common line in the middle. And all of this is about analyzing cost behavior. The name of the chapter is cost behavior. That's the whole thing. It's like, what's happening with your cost? I'm going to go off for just a little bit here. I mean, think of how much money you spend yourself on gas. So if you were to look at, week by week, date by date, the last 12 months of your life, how much money do you spend on gas to put in your car? And how does that correlate with your behavior? Like, well, this is when I'm in school and I'm driving back and forth to school, or this is when I got this new job in Ann Arbor, or all that kind of thing. What's your cost behavior? Same thing right now with COVID-19 and the shutdown and staying at home. What's your cost behavior like for spending money on food? So you're going to the grocery store, that's it. We're not going to bars and restaurants. How does that change up how much you're spending on that kind of stuff? Cost behavior. So there's 3 problem-solving things you're going to do. High-low method, that's 1. Scatterplot method, that's 2. Those you're going to sort out yourself, use Excel. The third one is called the regression method, or the method of least squares. And you definitely want the executive summary so you can go through step by step how to do this. You're basically gonna have Excel do everything. You're not gonna do this. You're gonna click, click, click in Excel, push the button, and you're gonna get your answer. So hang on. Okay, so method of least squares, regression method. This starts on page 98. I would definitely go slow through this section. This is going to be the most unfamiliar. And then page 100, using regression programs. That's where you're going to use Excel. Use my step-by-step, click, click, click. It's all in the executive summary. This is where I actually wrote it out, when I was doing it myself. When you do that, Excel is going to give you that. That's on page 101. So, you get it all in Excel, you push the final click, and then bam, you're going to get that printout. And that's going to give you your X and your Y. It's going to give you your fixed and your variable. And then you can solve the rest of it and apply it to the business scenario you're working on. And that's pretty much it for Chapter 3. Terminology, 3 different kinds of problem solving. High-low method, scattergraph, and the method of least squares, the regression method with Excel.